We could be looking at, the fastest tightening since 1997. The market's pricing in 1% interest rate in May, and then we could see 1.5% by the end of the year. What kind of timeline are you looking at?
Well, I don't know whether it will get as high as that, Francine. It's path dependent. I hate to say this, but just imagine what the world's going to look like in June. So what happens if inflation is falling dramatically at this point? And what happens if unemployment is going up? It could well be a completely different set of conditions. And that's just talking about the UK. What about the global read across? What's happening in China? China is the last one to be easing, it seems, at the moment. So there's a big global story, and the local story is going to change rapidly. So I think 1% is already a long way away from where we are now. 1% is a key line in the sand because the bank has made it so. The bank has said that's the threshold where they're going to consult on the selling down of the gilt portfolio.
Stephen, how are you thinking about sterling at this point? Does the fragility around the UK economy offset that higher path of rates in terms of the pound? You turn bearish on sterling?
Well, it seems at times like this, the FX market starts to reach for the old-fashioned research method, which is to look at rate differentials. And so sterling seems to have done all right on the back of that. So it quite likes the rates going up. But a more considered opinion would recognize that throughout history, sterling has sometimes been a tool of policy. So if the UK has a really high inflation rate, and there's this question of the falling potential GDP, which is a function of Brexit from a few years ago, then maybe the rates can't go up very much. And in that case, the heat needs to be taken out, maybe through sterling, maybe through the shape of the curve. And so I think the Bank of England is fully aware of this. In some ways, sterling is part of the tools of monetary policy here. So it may enjoy the rate differentials, but that's really a temporary thing.